Distributive property. We've talked about the distributive property multiple times, okay? You guys have got to know and understand the distributive property. That is from X13. Also, remember, that is the lesson where I talked about you having a friend do your assignment, okay? Don't do that. It is going to hurt you down the road. Yeah, it might help you on that assignment to get a better score, but it's not going to help you for the quiz. It's not going to help you for the test. And it's not going to help you for all those lessons where we use the distributive property. Okay? We are going to use the distributive property all year. Okay? You need to understand that. So, the distributive property, and then X14 through X16, X14, X15, X16, all dealt with simplifying, combining like terms, and equivalent expressions. Okay? They're all kind of related. Well, when we get to this one, it's saying identify equivalent linear expressions. You're going to be doing the same thing you've been doing over the last 5 lessons. The only thing that's a little different is X17, which we did yesterday. Okay, but again, that dealt with distributive property. So when you're looking at this problem, which expression is equivalent, what you need to do is simplify each expression if you need to, before you can tell if they're equivalent. Okay, for example, this is 3 times 3h. Everybody should know that this can be simplified to 3 times 3h is equal to 9h. Okay, so what you're looking for over here is 9h. Now, word of caution, sometimes they're going to have, now maybe it's not in this lesson, yeah, it is in this lesson. Sometimes they're going to have a mess over here for your choices. And you have to clarify, clean up that mess, again, going through the process of distributive property, combining like terms, to then compare if they're equivalent. So this first one's pretty easy. Which expression is equivalent to that? Well, this is 9h. Over here, out of these choices, none of these 3 are equal to 9h. But you have to know, I can't add these 2 together and say this is 9h. It doesn't work that way because they're not like terms. But again, some of you don't know how to combine terms because you haven't been doing your assignments, or you've been having somebody else do them for you. You need to do your assignments. Okay? So, 9h. When we look at number 2, go ahead. You try to figure out which one, or maybe there's more than one, right answer. Which expression is equivalent to that? So what do you have to do first? The first thing you have to do is figure out what that is in simplest form, right? You have to simplify that expression. Once you get that expression figured out, then you can compare over here. Go ahead. Continue working on the problem, see if you can figure it out. Now, how you go from here to here, everybody's going to do it differently. What I am doing is showing all of the steps and showing it the same way every time. So if you have questions, you can look. Okay, I rewrote the subtracting to adding the opposite, and then we multiplied it out. I have to take the -2 times the first and -2 times the second. And we get this. Some of you might have -2x minus a -12. But you have to understand that a -2x minus a -12 is the same as this. Because when you look over here, you have to match it up. Okay, this is simplified. I can't combine those, but it's not the same. 12x, I can't combine those. It's not the same. And then I have a -2x plus 12. So if you had this as your answer, which is fine, you need to recognize that this is the same as this. Okay, now here's one thing to note as well. It says which expression? One answer. Which expression? One answer. Look at number 3. Select the expressions. This is applying. There's going to be more than 1, 2, maybe 3, maybe all 4 of them. So what do you have to do? First, simplify this. So everybody right now, simplify this. Now again, simplifying this, that's in one of your other IXLs that you were supposed to do and master. You're supposed to already know how to do that. Okay? But go ahead, simplify this. I'll give you time, and then we'll check it. All right, so again, how you go from this to this, it's very important that you're able to do it, okay? Because if you don't do this correctly, you're not going to be able to match it over here. Again, you need to have mastered, you need to have practiced all those X13, X14, X15, X16. If you don't have those mastered, it's going to be really hard to do this one. Okay, this IXL. So here now we have either of these two. Again, when you get done, you need to recognize that 25U plus a -47 is the same as if I just had -47. You need to recognize that. Okay? Now you look over here, and do we have a 25U plus a -47 or a -47? Yes, I do. This one, right? But it said expressions. That implies there's more than one. Okay? Because this is a -47U, I know it's not that one. You should be able to recognize this as what? You need to what? Simplify it to see if you get one of those. And this one you need to simplify to see if you get one of these. Go ahead. Simplify those. Who's making the noise? Let's not, please. Okay, I'm going to pause you here for a second. Now, some of you might have recognized that all they did when they rewrote this one, it is the same writing. These two are exactly the same. All they did is they moved the -5, multiplying the quantity here by a -5. They just moved it from the front to the back. So you wouldn't have had to do all of this. But some people didn't recognize that. So then you'd have to do all of this. And you get, again, 25 plus a -47, or 25u minus 47. So this one is also equivalent, okay? The one we haven't checked or don't know about now is this bottom one. So I'll give you time to work through that if you haven't worked through it yet to see if that is also equivalent. Go ahead. Not yet. So when you simplify this expression, we have to multiply the -5. Notice we have to multiply the -5 times all three numbers inside the parentheses. We go here, get 40, here, get -15, and there, get -40, or -40, okay? Then we combine like terms. These two give me 25, these two -47, which is the same. So I have three answers here that are equivalent. Okay, so basically what you have to do is simplify each expression. The original problem, along with all of these expressions that can be simplified, you have to simplify them all before you compare and then determine which ones are right. So there's going to be a lot of math for each problem. I've said this before, and I'm going to say it again. I suggest you work it out on a separate sheet of paper. Please work things out on a separate sheet of paper. You're not going to be able to do all of this on your computer screen, writing and erasing. It's going to be very difficult to do it that way. Just do it on paper, please. All right. You know how to do each one. It's just a matter of doing it if you've done your IXLs like you're supposed to. All right. So go ahead. You can either start on X18 or work on the other X's, X13, 14, 15, and 16. Make sure you have those at least 85 or higher, because this one would be really difficult to do unless you have those already done. All right, go ahead, working.